So I imagine that there are at least a few of you out there right now wondering if this talk is going to be boring. I'm a photographer, so maybe I might show you some photographs of boring things and suggest that you also take some photographs of boring things. Well, I hope that this talk won't be too boring, but the other part of what I said is exactly true. I love to take photographs of parts of everyday life that others may often overlook. In fact, there are things that on most days I might overlook, but on the day that I take the photograph, for some reason, they catch my eye. Sometimes these things are in my home, sometimes they're out in the world. And believe it or not, photographing ordinary moments is even a service I provide to my clients. Part of my photographic practice is documentary family photography. Documentary means that I work to make photographs that are unposed and unstaged. When I do a documentary family session, I come in and I spend time with the family, hanging out and doing whatever it is that that family likes to do together and photograph it. Whether they're playing with the dog or laughing and giggling together or crying because they've scraped a knee, I'm there to quietly document the moments. The goal is to create honest images of family interactions and connections. Instead of pose portraits where everyone is wearing clothes they don't normally wear and they're arranged in uncomfortable positions, I focus on coming into my client's environment where they're comfortable and doing whatever it is that they like to do together. I want to create photographs for my families that remind them not only of what life looked like, but what life felt like. And having a documentary family photographer means that everyone can be in the moment together, and they can all be in the photographs together, because when someone in the family is taking photographs, then they are not in them. And having someone practiced at light and composition and anticipating moment can make for more wall-worthy images. Here's the thing, though. You don't need to be a master of light and composition in order to make so many meaningful photographs for yourself. So here we are in this room together today. We're at this memorable event, so it's a little bit different than your average everyday. But I know for me, having a picture of something can bring back a whole flood of memories about the time that I clicked the shutter. And so what I want you all to do right now, though, is pick up your phone, if it has a camera on it. Pick up a phone and just make one photograph, just one picture. It could be a selfie. It could be a photograph of someone you're with. It could be a picture of the stage. Just one quick photograph that is a detail that you want to remember about today. Look at you all, you're being photographers. Look, yay, do this. This is good because what you've just done for yourself is create a gift to your future self. And in 5 years, when you look at that photograph, hopefully you will remember the detail that you chose to take a picture of, but hopefully it will also jog your memory as to maybe the topic of this talk, maybe the great company you had while you were here today, maybe topics of other talks that we have throughout today, maybe just your haircut that you had today and it was either particularly good or particularly bad. Photographs are a gift that can help you remember. So today is a little more memorable than your average day. So I want you to think about some of the things that you might take photographs of in your daily life that help you to remember things. So what does your favorite restaurant look like? What about your favorite meal? What about your neighborhood or your house? What do you use to get around? A car, a bike, a bus? What do you wear? What is your favorite piece of clothing or your favorite pair of shoes? What do you keep in your bag or your purse? What's the view out your window? What's on your bookcase? Do you have a stack of books that you've recently read? What about electronics? Your computers, iPads, iPhones, gaming consoles. What's something you've made recently? Photographs are a gift that can help you remember these things because things change. Life changes. In a day, in a week, in a year, in 10 years, in 30 years, things change. People come and go. Your restaurants come and go. The view out your window changes. You think you will remember these things, and yet they do change, and it can be so hard to remember. So photographs are a gift that can help you remember. This is my bedroom from middle school. It's a little bit of a fuzzy photograph because it was taken probably on a tiny little circular film camera in 1982. But you can still see so many parts of my room. There's photographs of my friends from the 7th grade on the wall and a couple of actors I thought were really cute. My Garfield sheets, my corded telephone, like that is definitely ages me. And my baby bassinet is still there, which I have crammed with dolls and stuffed animals. But things change, and in a couple of years I was in high school, and my cats replaced my Garfield sheets. I've got some new actors on the wall, and my 7th grade friends have been replaced by my high school poster. But things change, and in a couple of years I was in college, and this was my first apartment, and I have a totally different set of furniture, new color scheme, and my high school boyfriend's photograph is on the nightstand. And actually, he's my husband, and we've been married 26 years this week. So things change. Some things stay the same, but photographs are a gift that can help you remember. So how do I know what to take photographs of? There's so many things in daily life that you could photograph, and how do you know what's going to be important to you? I use one guiding question, and it's pretty simple. What do I find interesting? Now, that may seem to be the opposite of what I've been talking about, which is sort of mundane subjects, but the thing is, what I find interesting may not be interesting to you, and what you find interesting today, you might not have found interesting yesterday. I take photographs of phone booths and quirky plants and colorful utility covers, because when I'm out and about, I find these things interesting. There's a German couple, photographer, Bernd and Hilla Becker. They spent many years photographing water towers and cooling towers and grain elevators and coal bunkers. And these things may seem very mundane and boring to a lot of people, but not to the Beckers. They found them very interesting, and they created a fascinating collection of photographs. And this is an exhibit of their work that's currently on display at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. So my point is that interesting is in the eye of the beholder, and you should figure out what's interesting to you. It could be landmarks on your favorite walk. It could be the daily antics of your pets. It could be weird and unexpected things you find when you're out in the world, or a whole combination of these things. And as you're thinking about what is interesting to you, I hope you will see that photography is not just about the images you create, but about this experience you have while creating them and telling your story. I find that photography for me is often a scavenger hunt of finding things that are beautiful or interesting, and of seeing and noticing and sort of collecting images. And I also find that making these images is kind of like painting or making music. And it's really a gift to my current self as well as my future self. So imagine if you took one photo a day of something interesting, just one photo every day, and you just took one, and it was so fast and simple. And if you have one photo of something that's interesting to you every day, you would create this incredible visual diary that's a thread throughout your life. And I suggest thinking of this visual diary as a new kind of selfie, not for social media, but for yourself. With traditional selfies, we get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, but we could instead take the perspective of using our camera lens to really see and notice what's around us, and to keep a diary of what is interesting to us through our lives. Now, this isn't to say that you should never take selfies. I do sometimes because I want to show my face in pictures. With traditional selfies, you do get caught up in comparing yourself to others, but they're also really important for not just for yourself, but for your children and generations to come, because they want to be able to see you in pictures. I recently came across this amazing photograph, which is actually my grandmother as a baby. So that's my grandmother being held by her mother with her grandmother and her great-grandmother. So that's my great-great-great-grandmother. Now imagine if those women had decided they didn't want to get in front of the camera that day. Their hair wasn't exactly right, or they gained 5 pounds, or they gained 50 pounds. I wouldn't have this precious gift today. And it's so special to me. So the theme today is catalyst, and for me, photography is a catalyst for creativity, for capturing moments, and for appreciating my life and telling my life stories. And I hope that I challenge you to see that camera that you keep in your pocket every day and use it as a catalyst for yourself. Imagine just 1 photo a day. Taking pictures is savoring life intensely every 100th of a second. Thank you.